want to like tie your identity to the roster sheet and the jersey? Because who are you without the jersey? That's the question I want to ask everybody. You know, who are you without the jersey? Once I ask that to myself, I'm like, this is who I am without the jersey. A culture builder, a leader, and a person that just wants to see everybody excel in their lanes. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode of Mind Over Matter, where we talk resilience, passion, and how we go through adversity. I'm your host, Nick Stones, and today I have someone who has a very impactful journey. He was my first guest on my old podcast, Sharing Visions, if you guys remember that. And I'm super thrilled to bring him back on because he was the foundation to my podcast. And we're talking with Tanner Sullivan. He's also my roommate, a good college friend of mine that I've known for about 3 years now. And man, what can I just say? Like I'm so proud to see her glow up from freshman year to now, because he's a radio host, a writing tutor, and a college student here at Seminary. So let's all please welcome him, Tanner Sullivan.
Thanks for having me, dude. Thanks for having me back.
Oh, my pleasure.
Always my pleasure too.
Yeah, man. Like honestly, I gotta ask. Like,
go for it.
Obviously, you were the guest to the foundation guest to Sharing Visions. So, what did you think your college story was gonna like be back then?
See, when I was on the original podcast, I was still kind of at a standstill. I didn't know what my college journey was going to behold. I didn't know what was going to come next.
We all didn't, actually. Right. It was a big question mark.
It was, yeah. It was still like to be determined. Mm-hmm. But like since that show, a lot of things have changed for me. Like, okay, I'm still heavily involved with the radio station at WNTI here at Centenary, right, as the student programming director. But in addition to that, I also currently serve as an intern at another radio station, WRNJ, which is a more mainstream news station. I also currently work with our student newspaper, the Cyclone Chronicle. I am the executive managing editor, I believe is my position. And in addition to that, like you said, I currently work as a tutor in the writing collaboratory as well. So a lot of things have changed since then. And it's kind of grown a lot more in the journey since the original episode.
Absolutely, man. Like sometimes you just got to take those moments for yourself to just appreciate where you're at.
Oh, absolutely.
You know,
yeah.
Gratitude first always.
Yeah, of course.
Gratitude first. And I'm sure you've been through bumps to get to where you're at.
Yeah, there's been, like, no good thing comes without a couple of obstacles. And although although I can't think of some off the top of my head, there were some like roadblocks specifically in regards to sort of like personal ones, like anxiety and what have you. But generally speaking, it's all sort of part of the journey. Like
it is.
You can't really, like, everything kind of comes with its own set of roadblocks that kind of come naturally. It's just a matter of how you maneuver around them or work past them that really matters.
Exactly. Maneuver through the obstacles. That's all. Mm-hmm. Right. It's like cones. Right?
Yeah.
You dribble past them, you want to get through them. You know?
Right, exactly.
On football analogy, right? They do football drills like cones. They cut, catch the ball, keep going to the end zone.
Yep.
Pass the cone. Yeah, man. So at freshman year, Tanner could just look at you now. You could speak to him in the mirror or something.
I mean, yeah.
Honestly, like, because freshman year, you were obviously still in your building phase, right?
Yes.
You were still trying to figure out who you were as a college student and a human being.
Uh-huh.
And obviously, you know, when we graduate college, we start figuring out our careers from there. So if you could look at your freshman year yourself, you know, being a tutor, a radio host, and having an internship at WRNJ, what do you think was surprising the most?
I think the thing that surprised me the most on this journey is just how much I've been able to accomplish. Because when I arrived here freshman year, I knew practically nothing. I didn't know really anything. I didn't know much about the campus clubs. I didn't know much about the surrounding area of Hackettstown. I didn't know much about my skills. I didn't even know much about how much I'll be able to accomplish, like, in writing and such specifically. But
shout out to the Cyclone Chronicle and Professor Zada.
Yep, shout out, definitely. But I think when I came to because that was especially during my first semester as a freshman,
Right?
Because I was still trying to get used to the environment. I'm still trying to get used to pretty much everything campus had to offer. And it wasn't until the second semester when I started doing the radio where I'm like, okay, maybe I'm onto something here. Then over that summer, I was offered the student programming director position, and it was through there when I met a lot of other great people through the radio station. I maintain close friendships with many of them to this day, and throughout all this as well, I sort of rediscovered some of my passions. Like, namely, I rediscovered my passion for writing, which stemmed from a lot of the courses in the field that I took while I was at Centenary.
Right.
And then when I was given the opportunity to write something for the Cyclone Chronicle, because I'm a big movie reviewer, and I had the opportunity to write a written review of a recent film I saw.
Indeed. Speaking of which, we just saw Scream 7 yesterday.
Yes, we saw Scream 7, review in progress. But once I got that all accomplished, and once I got a draft submitted, I realized I might have something here. And then
that's when you discover the passion. Boom.
Yeah, and that's where it sort of like fully reconnect back with me. And it was also through other great connections as well that I was able to secure the internship with WRNJ. And
that's all it is, connections.
Exactly, it's connections, but also it's the passion.
It's the passion too.
And because like you really gotta be involved with a lot of this. Well, involved, but you also gotta be aware, and you have to show that you really care about it. And
because if you don't care about it, then why are you there?
It's all a matter of trying. That's
try.
what I've come to realize. Right. And it's like, you might not know everything. And that's
okay.
Exactly. You're never going to know 100% every single thing and how every single thing in the world works. It's just a matter of, if you can find one area and basically get the general gist of how it works and such, it's usually I found it to be pretty easy going from there. It's just, how can you add your own unique flair to it? That's really what this is all about, is like I know how this works, but how can I add to it?
How can I add spice to it?
Yes.
And but I was gonna carry on to that. Not everybody's gonna be Albert Einstein.
No, it's like,
come on, man.
Like, no one can turn into Albert Einstein overnight.
No one.
It's like,
we all learn differently. We all process things differently. Right? But what matters is that when you execute to a certain goal, execution wins over intellect. I may sound a little bit of some people may disagree, but it's okay. But me personally, execution over intelligence.
For me, it's sort of like a mix of both.
It's a mix of both,
It's the way you carry out actions matters, but you still got to be like aware of the general.
No, you still need intelligence. I agree. But what I'm saying is, like, I personally prefer execution than intelligence, because when you execute, at least it shows that you're dedicated to achieving that specific goal, right?
Right, as long as you're committed.
As long as you're committed, that's all it is, right?
Yeah.
And then if you're committed, that's when intelligence plays the big role. Yes. So it's kind of like the pieces will eventually just combine into one puzzle.
Right, like, kind of comes naturally.
It does, yeah. It comes naturally.
And you can't force certain pieces of a puzzle to come into fruition when you don't have everything fully figured out yet.
Don't.
So it's like, because if you're trying to force everything into it, then it's not going to match the same, and it's all going to feel a lot more like inconsistent.
Inconsistent. When I was going to say, when I did this, all over the place. You're going to be all over the place. But yeah, man, honestly, and we're going to get onto the writing questions in a minute, but writing definitely plays a big role in life.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, and honestly, for people viewing, if you don't like writing, I would try it. Because you got to understand this. I can understand people that don't like writing if they're forced to write about something they don't like. That's understandable. But writing is all about freedom.
See, the thing with writing, as I come to realize, especially in the rediscovered passion, is that it's one of the most versatile forms of communication that there is. Because you can use writing for anything. It's more than just writing essays based on prompts that you're given in class.
Right.
You can also use it for free writing. You can use it to like vent whatever's on your mind. You can use it for creative purposes, informative. You can use it for persuasion or for like awareness. You can use writing in a variety of different ways, I've come to realize. And like maybe if potentially like if you don't gravitate towards one form of writing, maybe you'll gravitate towards another. Like the big thing for me was before I rediscovered my passion, I sort of had a mixed relationship with writing because it was like the prompts I was given growing up were just like, I don't know if I have this fully figured out. And I was in constant communication with my teachers to make sure I was doing it right. But with more recent forms of writing, it's like they're, at least in my experience, the prompts have been a lot more versatile and a lot more like, there's a lot of different directions you can go with them.
Indeed.
And that's why in a lot of my essay prompts that I've been given here, I sort of tie it back to film, which is another big passion or obsession of mine. And then once I found the Chronicle and I was able to really let my creative voice sort of shine through my reviews and also through a couple of more objective pieces I wrote as well, that's when it really sort of clicked with me. So like if one form of writing doesn't fully work for you, I've come to realize maybe try experimenting with something else. And if it still doesn't work for you, then that's completely okay. This is all subjective.
It's subjective, indeed. But also, carrying on to what you said about writing shows variety and like what you want to write about, right? And that's completely accurate because, again, writing's all about freedom. Write about what you want. Write about what's on your mind. Write about something you're passionate about. And the creativity would just come naturally. Honestly. Like, that's how I discovered writing. I remember taking the Cyclone Chronicle, and while I joined the club, I was still kind of, obviously, trying to, like, navigate through the class. But it gave me freedom to just write about what I want. And write about just mainly what's on my mind. Because, and you guys know the story, freshman year, cut from the basketball team, pivoted into starting my podcast, pivoted into journalism, music, everything. I tapped into everything possible. And then that's when I discovered my unique talents, right? And then it all traces back to writing, right? And I feel like some people don't get this too. You actually technically write every day. Think about it.
Like, you mean like in terms of like texting?
Texting, that's writing.
Like texting, emailing, like, even like writing a post on social media, that involves writing in some capacity, even if it's just like for one sentence.
That's it. It still counts. You know? Writing, it gives me peace, gives you peace.
Yes.
And what better feeling than just to feel like, wow, I could really expand my creativity here. I could show authenticity. And I don't have to prove myself. Because what am I proving? All I want to do is just shine in a way that makes me feel valued, you know? And again, shout out to Professor Zada. That's what she did for us. But unfortunately, I'm still... Oh, man, she got hawk eyes on me. I'm still obligated to write for the sport teams here at Center.
For the athletic department.
Yeah. Yep. She wants nothing. She wants you to write nothing else but that. Well, because, blending in storytelling and making athletes feel seen, that's what I'm passionate about. You know,
it's like as long as you're writing about something you're passionate about. Then.
And that's what that's what I'm saying. That's what matters. Man, like, Tim, you can name 5 things you love to write about. What would you want to write about?
Oh, good question.
Yeah.
5 things that I would just like to write about in general.
Yeah, in general.
Let me think. Of course, there's movie reviews. That's one of my defaults. Then I do really enjoy free writing as well, just like writing whatever's on my mind.
We actually do free writing class too.
Yes, in our Writing for Digital World, we always start class with it. Also, really like writing like nonfiction and such, especially as I've gotten more into radio, and especially with WRNJ, it's sort of become more of an objective practice. You kind of have to. Weirdly, this might seem kind of weird, but one thing I've also kind of enjoyed writing is getting like questions for interviews as well, because especially
that's important.
with all my connections in radio, we interview a lot of people there, and whether I'm writing the questions for someone else that's going to be interviewed or whether I'm actually conducting the interview, it's always something of like, okay, well, how can I make this tie back to the main prompt, but how could I make this also like an engaging conversation? I was even just doing it earlier today as well. And then for the fifth one, man, really anything kind of goes here. It can range from like fictional storytelling to a persuasive essay.
Right.
But I think it's also just writing about just general things that I'm passionate about. Like I remember it was sometime in 2024 I wrote an article about World College Radio Day and the stuff that we did at the radio station. And because radio is another medium I'm passionate about, and that was sort of like a way that I could express my love of radio through writing. And it's like really any sort of thing that ties back to where I can correlate the two mediums is always an added bonus the way I look at it.
Yeah, man. I was gonna ask too, how does radio play a big role in writing, in your opinion?
So it all depends on what exactly you're broadcasting. But especially in my experience at WRNJ, I've come to realize that writing in particular plays a role when it comes to news stories, because in the world of radio, especially in like mainstream objective radio, compared to something like WNTI, which is more student run, it's a lot more versatile over there.
Indeed.
At RNJ, what's something that usually have to do is we have to find news stories that are freshly uploaded or freshly published or relevant in some capacity, and we have to what we call radiotize them, which basically means we have to take this giant article or like this article that has like multiple paragraphs and essentially condense it into a couple of sentences, just so we can give people the general rundown of what to expect.
And isn't it like a summary?
Yes, it's basically like a concise summary. So
makes sense.
For example, over winter break, I was called in to WRNJ twice so I could do fill-in work for them because the news director was on vacation and they need someone to do the morning and afternoon news drives, which basically means I'll be doing live broadcasting over a condensed 3-minute time frame. I have to read a slew of stories, and then once it reaches 3 minutes, I get cut off, and then we go back to the live broadcast. Now, throughout this process, especially on my first shift, I was refreshing pages pretty much every single hour or every half hour, and every time there was a new and relevant story, I would write about 5 sentences total for each of the articles. Basically putting a hook that basically went over the entire, this is the general gist of the article, then I have the main body of it, which is like a main summary, and then a final like call to action or general trivia at the end of it. And
trivia. That's a good way to conclude the show.
Yeah, like a general like a fact about the situation, or like a call to action, like for example, if this is about like a missing persons report or like a recent outbreak of something, or like if you have more information, please call this number or email this address.
And then it's also, how I see it too, yes, it plays a role in writing, but it also plays a role in marketing and advertising.
It can, yes. Because with radio, you also get sponsorships as well. And you usually get to express that in some sort of capacity, whether it's through your TV, your commercials and your liners, or whether it's through like actual live mentionings of it. And marketing in radio, usually it falls on what, at least in my experience, it's fallen on what's broadcast. And usually, like for example, with WRNJ, at certain points of the day when you do a newscast, we have to mention that, oh yeah, this newscast has been sponsored by, and then usually it's for a local business or a local practice that's happening in the Hackettstown area, or at least in their airspace.
Right.
With NTI, we also get sponsorships or marketing as well, but it's primarily for on-campus events.
Yeah, and actually, Centenary's had some sponsorships too.
Yes, we have. And usually WNTA will either market those, we'll market our sponsors and our on-campus events, or we'll market things for like organizations that are hosting PSAs.
Nice.
And usually, but the thing that with radio that it has in common is that, especially with both writing and marketing, there is a little bit of correlation. It's that they're both being broadcast in some capacity. And it's whether you're just reading off a script or you're just playing whatever's on the system, we're still giving them airtime in some capacity. And you're getting experience out of it as well.
You're getting experience. Yeah, man, like, honestly, some people have to understand, too. It's not only, like, you want... Like, I can understand people who want a job just to make money in the moment. But experience is everything.
Exactly. Like, the pay, I think... Especially in working, the pay is a bonus.
It is.
And it's like an additional sort of like I guess sort of a gift you could say, as like a thank you for.
It's you being rewarded.
But the thing that I mainly look for in these sorts of experiences is, well, just that, the experience. And it's like, I keep defaulting to WRNJ, but that's one of the areas where I've been working with them consistently for about 3 semesters now. And in all this time, I've mentioned to them that I've really valued all the experience that I have with them, because I do. I've learned a lot more about radio and how it works, and I've learned more about the impact of local news and how we can broadcast it through WRNJ. So it's like, the pay is appreciated, but I'm especially appreciative of what I gain out of the experience as well. So.
Right, and respect, bro. Respect, huge respect. So back to the questions. Long conversation.
Yeah.
Was there a moment in college where you doubted your direction?
Maybe not like doubted per se, but I did sort of like, I might have questioned it at some point. Now I couldn't fully tell you like the exact circumstances, but what I could say was there was a point in time where I was at the very least, like questioning, like, is this the right direction for me? I think this was before I discovered the Cyclone Chronicles.
I mean, hey man, we all ask that question to ourselves. You know?
Right. It's like, because it's like, this was, I think, before I'd fully rediscovered my writing passion. And I think I was just sort of at a point where I was debating, like, after I graduate here, like, is this the direction I really want to go? And although I'm still working to fully finalize where I want to go after I graduate, I do have at least more of a clear vision now.
And that's what matters. That's what matters. You need to have that vision, right? Because without the vision, you're gonna get stranded. You're gonna get stranded.
Like the vision's sort of like, or like the idea of where you want to go is essentially your blueprint.
It's your blueprint.
And now, but now it's just how can you build upon it?
How can you build upon it? And then, let's not sleep on this because this is very important. We just mentioned this. Network.
Yes, like building connections is an important part of helping to build your sort of identity.
Your resume.
Or your resume, your identity.
Your identity.
Like really any sort of thing that can help you in the employment.
Yeah, man. And honestly, maybe I would say it does play a big role in credibility.
Well, that as well, yeah. Because like I've built a lot of connections in the time, especially in the time since my my last time on this show. Like, since then, I took a summer internship where I was able to form some good bonds. I was able to continue my time with WRNJ, and they still view me as a trustworthy intern and, well, just a trustworthy person of interest, I guess you could say, lack of a better term. And even at the university, I built a lot of strong connections. So it's like, now it's just a matter of finding a place where I can utilize all these skills and, like, sort of like really put everything I've learned to the test of like, so everything's led to this moment. Now
everything's led to this moment. How can I excel?
So how can I use all the skills I've learned in this sort of environment?
Indeed. And we all question that to ourselves, right? Because we want to excel to the next level, right? And when I discovered sports journalism, I'm like, yeah, man, this is my path. Because at first I admit I did a lot of self-reflection, and I wanted to work in sports. I would say I wanted to work in sports, do something. Because, pro is not guaranteed. It's very hard to go pro. So, I tell everybody, do you really? Right? That's just when I discovered that was my true inner calling. You discover your true inner calling by realizing that if I'm doing this is it. This is my inner calling. Bro, like, it naturally just came to me without me thinking it.
It's sort of like building your own sort of brand.
Yeah.
And it's like, as long as you're able to get something, you don't have to have all the pieces figured out immediately. Like, especially since this is a big process. It's kind of like as long as you have a general idea of what you want to do, then it's like, okay, now I can start building something. Like, how do I want to promote myself? How do I want to use my skills in this way? Like, it's going to take a while for you to fully find all the pieces, but once you get the general gist of what you want to do, it's really just a matter of how can you promote yourself. At least that's what I've come to realize.
Yeah, it's very important to sell yourself. Absolutely. So, Tanner, my other question. What's something you have to mentally overcome to step into the role of tutoring and being a radio host?
Oh, so for both of those positions, there was always that little degree of anxiety.
Okay.
And it was mainly just a matter of, well, it's a time commitment. It's a big, position I got to fill. I'm going to be working closely with peers, and I got to make sure I'm giving them the right sort of advice on what to do and where to go with this. In fact, I remember when I was originally offered the position of student programming director, I wasn't fully sure if I wanted to take it at first, because I was initially offered it at the end of the semester. And I'm like, well, I'll think about it, because I'm like, this is a big position. And not only is it going to be a time commitment, but it's also going to be I have to make sure I teach everyone correctly. And it's because if I'm in this sort of position, people are going to look up to me. And
Indeed. It is a big role. Absolutely.
And then as for the writing tutor, that process was always one that was sort of one that we've been trying to make happen since my freshman year, when I was originally recommended for the tutor training course. The only thing is the course kept interfering with other courses I needed to take for my major. And it wasn't until my junior year when we were finally able to fit it into my schedule. And then the big nerve-wracking part I remember about that was at the end of the semester when the interview came for me being a tutor there. And because then it's okay, I got to make sure I set up the correct sort of brand for myself. I got to be myself, but I can't shy away from the responsibilities of this sort of position. Because again, I've been working really hard to get to this position, and this is another one where if I get accepted, people are going to be relying on me, or at least looking up to me to really not just give them the okay on their writing, but also just to make sure that they're on the right track and I'm teaching them the right lessons. And in both positions, when they first started out, I was worried, really worried that I was going to mess it up or that I was going to say the wrong thing.
Hey man, it's okay to have those thoughts, because at the end of the day, we want to help people reach their full potential.
Yeah.
And we're not perfect human beings. We're not perfect.
Right.
That don't exist. Not in my head. That don't exist. But I think it's totally normal to feel that way.
Exactly. Especially when you're just starting out in these sort of positions. But then I'm once I got the hang of it, and once I really started bonding with peers through these positions, that's when I figured this is where I'm meant to be. This is where I'm set to go, and this is a massive accomplishment for me and for especially for my own mentality. And it's because now not only do I have something for my resume, and not only am I getting all this experience, but I'm bonding with people through campus, whether it be through their writing or through their radio skills. It's So I'm helping teach them, and they're getting something out of it, and that's something. As long as I can help someone in some capacity, that's enough to help me fulfill my mantra, and that's enough to give me reassurance that I succeeded.
Mm-hmm. That's a good statement right there. Indeed, I like that answer. Love the answer. So, I always gotta ask this.
Mm-hmm.
So when things don't go your way, right?
Yeah.
What's like your reset process?
So when things don't go my way, it's really just when things don't go my way, a lot builds up in my mind, and it's like, and especially depending on the day I've been having up until that point, where it's like, now, but in generally speaking, when things don't go my way, usually I take a minute to like, especially if it's like a quieter area, I just like collect everything in my head, just be like, okay, so what's going on? What did you think was going to happen? What actually happened?
Right.
And that's where, and from there, that's when I'll usually implement more of like a writing process to it, of like, because a lot's going on in my mind, I got to vent it out somehow. So that's when I'll just start typing or writing, depending on if it's pen and paper or the Docs app or whatever. And then I'll just get everything out. So that way, not only can I get a general idea of, okay, so what didn't go the way I thought it would, but also like, if this happens again, how can I respond differently?
How can you respond differently? Agree. You ever thought about this too? Like, I mean, sitting down and self-reflecting for that moment works, definitely. Maybe take a walk by the water.
Even just, even like getting some fresh air. That's another really good way to help.
Yeah, man, you need fresh air. Because, and I'm going to speak metaphorically.
Okay, go on.
When the sunlight shines so bright, right, and you feel like you're stuck in the storm in the moment, the sun's shining on you, well, in a way, and well, the sun and the air, like the wind, like the fresh breeze, it'll brighten up your mentality. In a way, I feel like that.
In a way, yeah, it's like just going outside, like even just like just moving a little bit, can like that can also like whenever things don't go your way, that can also lead to, especially if you've been like doing nothing all day. That's when it can like really sort of, it gets because then it gives those thoughts an opportunity to simmer.
Then to simmer,
and then it's like if you let it simmer for too long, then it's gonna overboil.
That's gonna be
and then it might get worse. I don't know, but.
And we don't want to imagine it gets worse, but yeah.
Exactly.
If you
like just getting those thoughts out, or even just like getting out and moving, that's listening to music. That like little things like that have really they can help a lot.
Some people drag it. Some people drag it about like saying like I want to go to the bar, I want to spend money because it's therapeutical. Okay, yes, but there's also other ways to cope with that.
Yes.
That's what some people don't get. There's other ways to cope with stress. There's other ways to cope with sadness. There's other ways to cope with happiness. There's other ways to cope with, plenty of feelings I can name off the top of here. But coming from a person who likes to budget money, it's important we save money.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? It's okay to waste a little bit here and there. Because maybe you earned it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right, it's your money, it's your bag. You collected the check. Go enjoy life.
but still be mindful.
But still be mindful, yes. Stack some of your savings because you need a savings. Because you never know what you might need. You never know.
Anything goes.
Right. Anything goes. So Tina, I got another one for you.
Okay.
This is an interesting one.
Go on.
What's the biggest mistake you think radio's hosts is making this generation?
Ooh. See, it's kind of hard for me to say fully because I've only had experience with two stations and they're of like vastly different formats. Like one's a student-run radio show where, of course, they're students, people are still learning.
Right.
Then the other one is a more like objective news-based or like mainstream radio station where the people who are working there have been there for upwards of decades. So it's like, I think it's not really like the biggest mistake. I think it's more like the big concern I have, which the big concern I have, of course, comes from, well, this day and age of streaming. And it's like, because now radio's a lot more, like, I don't want to say it's more obsolete, but in an age of streaming, it's become a lot more, like, it's harder to come across a mainstream radio station. So it's like, or at least like, and some radio stations have adapted. Now they have like channels on streaming.
Channels on streaming, yeah.
But nowadays it's like most people like they'll default to whatever is on their phone or whatever is on like Spotify or what have you.
Right.
So I think it's, I don't really think.
Or in the car.
Or in the car, yeah.
Because like they have the radio there too.
Yeah, exactly. I can't really think of like a big mistake. I think it's just the general concern of where's it going to go from here.
Where's it gonna go from here? No, that's a good one. Where's it gonna go from here? Because that's a lot. That's another thing people got to start to really think about too.
Mm-hmm.
How long will, and I'm making an example.
Mm-hmm.
How long will your music career last?
Um,
How long will your days of being pro last? Right?
Right.
How long will you excel in your lane and realize that I could be so much more than just staying in one lane? You know?
Right.
Because in my eyes, versatility is everything.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying you have to work multiple jobs to be versatile. No. I'm just speaking in general in skills. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, some people think, and again, I'll relate this back. If I don't have the jersey, I'm nothing. Why do you need the jersey though? What is the jersey gonna do for you at the end of the day? It's just a jersey. Rosters come and go.
Mm-hmm.
They change. Right?
Right.
Well, roles come and go. Rosters come and go. And coaches change. Bro, like, there's just so much, and there's a lot of, how would I say it? It's just so much change in the sports field that people don't see sometimes. And I respect every athlete out there wanting to play for the love of the game. That's completely reasonable. I still do too. But at the end of the day, we can't make our whole life the jersey, the stat sheet, and proving ourselves. It gets tiring. It really does.
It's sort of like proving yourself, sort of a thing. You gotta move at your own pace.
You gotta move at your own pace.
Don't overwork yourself.
Don't overwork yourself.
Because it's like, if you overwork yourself, you might think like I'm getting so much work done. This will surely prove it to them. But in reality, you're just burning yourself out.
You're burning yourself out.
It's like, but as long as like, it's sort of like this is why I say you gotta work at your own pace, because you can't go too fast. You can't go too slow. You just sort of gotta find that middle ground.
You gotta pivot.
Middle ground of
right.
like what works best for you.
Right. But you gotta pivot. Pivoting is super important. And that's a skill. That's a skill. I didn't fall into the trap of tying my whole identity to the jersey. I knew I could be so much more than that.
Right.
Because then you gotta see it like this too. I'm putting pressure on myself. I would be putting pressure on myself. And everybody out there is putting pressure on themselves because they believe that the roster sheet defines their whole path. When really it doesn't. When you stay connected to what you love to do, that's your win. That's your win.
Mm-hmm.
All honesty. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, you said you love writing.
Yes.
You love radio.
Mm-hmm.
And film.
Yes, absolutely.
Those three combine like puzzle pieces, right?
It can, yeah.
And you're not just a radio host, but you also coach other people.
Yes.
Into helping out with their shows here.
Yes.
Right? And again, you're not letting you as a host. You're not letting you as a host like tie your whole identity. What you're doing is you're fulfilling other people's potential.
Yes.
Right? And again, I love people like that. Because why would you want a person around you that thinks like, oh, I'm the shit. Yeah, you know better than me.
See, that's just ego. That's just pride. And it's
You
like,
let your ego and pride get in the way, and then you realize that not everybody's gonna like you.
right.
Not everybody's gonna like you.
It's just a matter of how you deliver it. That's the big thing that's going to matter.
Right. And then, again, bro, when I saw you on the radio station, this man could talk for like 2 hours.
Oh, I can.
And honestly, bro, like, to me, that's talent.
Oh, thank you.
That's talent. Because not a lot of people could keep a conversation flowing like that. You know, it takes a lot of ambition and determination.
Yeah, like it does. I think I've just come to realize that when it comes to talking, especially when it comes to a subject I love, I can just keep going for nonstop because I always got to find ways to tie all my points together.
Indeed.
And it's like, I talk a lot once I get the right idea of what's going on, and it's like, it's not something I like. It all depends. Of course, it all depends on the subject, but it also depends on what I'm saying and how I can tie all those points together. As long as I can keep a consistent flow, that's what I'm really looking for.
Mm-hmm. So let's shift gears for a second.
Okay.
When you mention tutoring, right?
Uh-huh.
How is tutoring sharpen your communication skills?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
So when it comes to tutoring, and because that's like one of the big things you're going to be doing with tutoring is you're going to be communicating.
Right.
Because you're going to be helping students, especially in the one area where I work at, you're helping students with their writing skills, which is like, that's a process that you can you can communicate about through a variety of different ways. Like in the collab, there's 3 different forms of tutoring that we do. There's there's face-to-face, which of course is where you meet personally.
Right.
Then there's
I personally prefer meeting in person, but virtual can work too.
That's the second one is virtual. We do it over a video call program. And the third one is e-tutoring, where a student sends us their prompts or their work, and we respond back to them via like email or through annotations or whatever. So it's sort of another thing where like the two fields kind of correlate with each other.
Oh, indeed.
And in building communication skills, it's mainly like how can you discuss with the students their work. And for me, like whenever I have to tutor a student, I always reassure them of what they've done. I always give them like extra reassurance or encouragement, like this is what you've done correctly. You're doing a really good job. You have you have a clear main idea. You express these points really well, and then from there I provide feedback, constructive criticism, like personally what I would do, or like if you want to help the flow of this, or if you want to help these points make sense together, this is what you do, X, Y, Z. So it's like the communication skills I build with tutoring. I try to help them not only benefit me, but also benefit the person I'm tutoring.
Benefit the person you're coaching.
Exactly.
You're mentoring, right? Because a lot of college students here aren't really necessarily perfect at communication skills. And again, I'm not saying you have to be perfect, but you do have to be mindful of that. Communication is very important.
Yes.
In everyday life. And as long as you're mindful of that, and you start to process that, you'll be successful.
Mm-hmm.
You'll be very successful. You know, man, I remember my first time coming here. My communication skills were like on and off, but once I started to get comfortable and really see my progress from like managing my time right, joining clubs, and networking with other people here, my communication skills have been like incredible.
Everyone has their own unique set of skills when it comes to communication, and it's another sort of way of like how can you utilize them to your advantage. Like for me, I'm usually always like on top of my communications. I'm usually very quick with responses to emails and texts. whenever there's like a plan coming up, I usually try coming up with an outline of something that how we can carry it out. And well, if I'm helping with like an assistant thing, this is something I do with the tutoring center and with the newspaper, is you acknowledge what everyone's done right and you give them extra reassurance, but then you also point out like this is an area that could use improvement. So it's like,
and there's always room for improvement.
Exactly.
Always room for. I'm pretty sure even celebrities will tell you that.
Yeah.
They're not perfect celebrities. They're still looking to improve too on their craft.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah, man. Communication plays a big role in everyday life.
It does.
So actually, I wanted to ask this, since you mentioned WRNJ, right? What did your internship with WRNJ teach you that the classroom couldn't?
I think the big thing with WRNJ that helped me was it helped me not only did it help me get more of like an experience of like a mainstream radio station, of like not just with the inner workings, but also of like the functions behind it.
Right.
And like even to a point where I went in at like 5 a.m. There was like 1 week where I went in twice at 5 a.m. to the radio station, or like maybe even a little bit earlier, just so I can get a general idea of like how a morning program works. And well, it helped me learn more about not just how a mainstream radio station functions, but it also helped me to learn more about like the correlation between news and radio. Because there's a lot of great shows here at WNTI, but none of them are really focused on news. They're more for entertainment's sake, which is absolutely great.
And that's great, yeah,
but,
man.
Yeah.
Totally. But like look at like some of the greatest entertainers we have in the world.
Right.
Like Kevin Hart, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, like I can name them all, right?
But it's mainly just like with RNJ, I learned more about how it could be more, how radio stations can be more like objective.
Right.
And sort of like the ties that there are between journalism and radio, which are the two functions on campus that I'm sort of the most engaged with, arguably, especially with like the newspaper and with the student radio station. So it's like RNJ is sort of like the combination of the two in like how I learned about how they function.
No, I like that answer. And you're right, actually. I've been thinking about it. News does play a role in that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because who doesn't want to wake up and hear what's going on in the world?
Right. Like we keep it with local news. At RNJ, there is an area that on the broadcast, like around the hourly function, that is ABC News, which is more like national.
That's national, yeah.
But
I'm just saying in general, T, like just news around town.
Oh yeah.
You know, like new coffee shops opening up.
Exactly.
New pancake restaurants opening up. Like, yeah, bro, like just
exactly. Like
update the town.
We actually have a very specific it's very like lenient with how you present the news stories. But one of the ways I was taught was you start with the more serious news, and then you end your 3-minute broadcast on a more uplifting note.
Right.
Or like, because there's a whole bunch of different news stories that we utilize in RNJ. Indeed. So it's like, not all of them are going to be happy or uplifting, but they are important for people to be aware.
They are important.
So it's like,
exactly.
But then you also got to make sure, like, you end it on maybe not make sure, but one way you can do is you can also end it on a beneficial note of like this organization's hosting a charity event, or like you can adopt a dog at this upcoming event.
Yeah, man, like that's what I'm saying. Just like know how to sell it.
Yes.
Right? If it's a brand, a restaurant, a podcast, a bank, a car dealership, sell it. That's all it is.
Right.
You want people to feel intrigued.
Yes.
Right? And you want them to visit it.
Like you want them to be aware, but you also want them to be engaged.
Engaged, yes.
So it's like,
who wouldn't want to engage with like a new car dealership or a restaurant opening up? That could be their favorite dishes.
It could.
You know?
Anything goes with what you broadcast.
Anything goes. And that's why it plays a big role. I love broadcasting too, man. It's a good thing.
It's a great art form, right?
Yeah, great art form. Indeed. Some other question, T.
Go on.
T. I like that. In your opinion, what separates someone who likes media from someone who's serious about it?
Oh. See, I've kind of experienced it on both sides. But someone who likes, I'll just look at it generally from like, because I major in radio, TV, film, so I'll look at it from that perspective.
Okay.
Someone who likes media is someone who is aware of it, is someone who frequently engages with it.
Mm-hmm.
Someone who
we mentioned often engages,
consumes it in some capacity. Like for me, my likes media side comes from how many times I go to the movie theater. Like that's my way. Shameless plug.
Plug. Hey man, this guy goes to the theaters more than I shoot a basketball.
More than I probably should.
Yeah.
And as for what was the other one? Someone who likes media or someone.
Yeah, like someone who likes media as like a interest, but someone who's serious about it.
Someone who's serious about media is someone who's like up to date with everything, but is also fully like committed.
Right.
And it's like someone who's serious about media is someone who aims to like deliver something or like spread the word about it or create something special, I guess you could say. Like someone who's serious about media is usually someone who's passionate about it.
You gotta be passionate about it.
Exactly. And it's like, well, how can you spread that passion? And I think that's where people who take media seriously sort of come in, whether it be through expressing broadcasts, like newscasts, or creating certain like series or films or what have you. It all depends on how you express the passion for it.
It all depends, yeah.
And like, I'm aware, like being aware of media is also something that can play a role in it as well, especially for like news media and such.
Yep. News media, writing media.
Yes.
You name it. We can name it. We can go on for hours naming about it.
It could, yeah.
But yeah, absolutely. So, let's see what motivational 10 is all about.
Okay.
Yeah. What advice would you give to any student who feels lost right now?
Repeat that, sorry?
So, like, what advice would you give to any college student who feels lost right now? I always wanted to hear motivational 10.
So, let's say if you're on your college journey and you're lost right now.
Right.
The way I see it, in my experience, getting lost at some point is part of the journey. Always. Like, you're not going to, especially since, like, if you're trying to figure out, like, where you want to go after college or what you might want to do in terms of campus events or clubs or what have you, you're not going to have everything figured out immediately.
Yeah, no.
Some of these things, they take days, weeks, or
even
months to figure out what you might want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, if you're not fully sure where you want to go on your college journey, what I'd recommend doing is just like look at where you are now, like take things into account, take certain factors into account, and then sort of like ask yourself, like, what do I think is the ideal next step from here? Or how can I take what I've learned and use it in the future? Like, that's sort of you're not going to have everything figured out immediately. It takes a long time to finalize where you might want to go after college or what you might want to utilize your skills in. And you might not be able to figure it out overnight, but you can figure it out in smaller doses, I guess you could say. So just take it step by step. And like, as long as you're going at your own pace, and as long as you're not overworking yourself or ignoring everything else around it, then you'll be able to find something efficiently, even if it takes a while.
Even if it takes a while, and like I said to everybody, sports journalism didn't just come. I wasn't born to be a sports journalist, right? It came naturally to me.
Mm-hmm.
And as I started perfecting the art efficiently, that's when I discovered it.
Mm-hmm.
It took baby steps for me to find that path. It did. It really did. Because I was like, I remember, like I said, man, I had plenty of days where I questioned myself. Do I want to be a sports marketer, sports agent, actor, artist? And we all have those moments where we want to be like, what do we want to be when we grow up?
Yes.
Right? And sometimes it's a path you never saw coming.
Right, it's like a surprise.
Bro, I never knew I would be into sports journalism. Never.
Like me, I didn't know what I was going to do when I got here. Originally, I came in looking, because when I was younger, I wanted to be a film critic, but a lot of those positions don't pay very well. So then I decided, you know what, maybe I'll go to film director.
Yep.
So that's when I decided to go more with a communications major. And then since then, I've discovered a passion for radio, rediscovered a passion for writing, and it's like I still would like to be involved in media in some way.
And all those skills connected.
Exactly. It's like
right?
everything connects eventually. So
all those attributes will connect so easily, man.
Mm-hmm.
So easily.
It's like once you get the right idea of what you might want to do, that's when everything starts correlating and connecting a lot easier.
Absolutely. So, Tanner, to wrap this up, I gotta ask the diamond question.
Okay.
What does mind over matter mean to you?
Oh, that's a good question. Mm-hmm. I think from a surface level, the concept of mind over matter means putting your thoughts into your day-to-day life and how you utilize that. Because it's like your thoughts are part of your daily process.
Indeed.
And like you need to use them in some sort of capacity every day. And the matter aspect of mind over matter is sort of like how you carry out certain actions or the circumstances surrounding the area. So it's like if things start piling up and things get a bit overwhelming or you can't figure anything out, that's sort of the matter at hand. It's like that's sort of the conflict. But it's the way you use your mind. It's the way that you use your thoughts or your actions or anything else that really involves thinking. It's how can you overcome the difficult matter at hand? Like how can you use your thoughts and try and prevent the conflict from fully taking over? Like using your brain efficiently or using your mind in any sort of capacity, that's really the thing that helps drive a day-by-day function. So it's like
I like that answer.
So it's just a matter of like how can I overcome challenges or obstacles or any sort of difficult matter using my mind, my thoughts, my actions, anything in that sort of.
Because people got to remember, the strength is not in here. It's not in here. It's in here.
Yes, it's in the brain. It's in the heart. It's in any of those sort of like vital areas.
It's always in the mind. You got to have that mental discipline.
Yes.
You got to have that strong mentality to say, I can overcome this. I can overcome adversity. If I just remain in my lane and remain perseverant. I love that word.
Mm-hmm.
It's everything to me.
As long as you're able to persevere through your challenges, that's what's really, it's like, challenges are going to come up no matter what.
They're going to come up. Like, you just got to be prepared to.
Like, they come up out of nowhere. More often than not. It's just a matter of what's going to matter the most, though, is how you use your mind to overcome.
How you overcome it, right? Because it's up to you how you overcome it.
Yes.
No, it's not up to no one else. It's up to you.
And again, some of these obstacles, they take a long time to overcome.
Yeah.
Some of them can take
years.
Periods of time.
Years
even.
Yeah.
Depending on how like big they are, how like impactful they are.
Right.
But like even if it's like something as small as a minor inconvenience or something as massive as a long-standing impact, it's like how can you use your mind to your advantage and how can you overcome them, or at least subdue them? That's the.
Because the mind is everything.
Mm-hmm.
You ask me, that's the most important part of your brain. Well, your brain, obviously, but I'm talking about like your body.
Right, of course.
That's the most important.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Mental strength over physical strength any day.
Right. Well, all strength is important, but mental strength is really what helps get you day by day. So it's like that's like one of the most beneficial things that you can have is mental strength.
Indeed, sir. Indeed. Again, big shout out to you.
Yeah, thank you.
For the path, bro. I'm really proud of you.
Thank you so much.
It means a lot. That wraps it up for another episode of Mind Over Matter. Thank you, Tanner Sullivan, for coming through.
Thank you so much for having me on again.
Yeah, and you guys heard it. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Communicate.
And just do what you think is best for yourself.
Do what you think is best for yourself. Right?
Again, you're not going to have everything figured out immediately.
You're not.
It's just a matter of how you carry out your actions that really matters.
Mm-hmm. But most importantly, don't rely on no one to save you. You're in charge of what you want to be and what you want to do with your life.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's very important.
It's your brain.
It's your brain.
You're the one that's in charge of it. So.
Right? And it's your life.
Absolutely.
And it's your life. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Big shout out to the radio host King. Big shout out to
Thank you.
the efficient writer.
Thank you.
And the WRNJ intern.
Thank you so much.
Man, appreciate it. Thank you. Peace out, everybody. More episodes coming soon. More inspiration on the way. Take care.